Hi guys, Geecher64 here, and today is Physical Media Tuesday, and today I wanted to talk about lenticulars, which I think are very underrated. I've never really talked about lenticulars here on the channel. I thought it'd be cool to share with you guys the lenticulars that I have. I would say for quite a little while, lenticulars were kind of a good premium packaging for physical media. We don't get a whole lot of lenticulars anymore, as steelbooks have become the more premium packaging, and then we also used to get lenticulars as exclusives. So when Target and Best Buy would have their exclusives, usually one or the other would have a lenticular option or a slipcover, but obviously Best Buy doesn't do physical media anymore. Target really doesn't do any physical media. I think by the end of the year they're going to be completely gone, and most Targets don't really have physical media left at all, at least in regards to Blu-rays and 4Ks. So with those exclusives kind of going away, while we do still get some Walmart and Amazon exclusives, those exclusives are pretty much exclusively steelbooks. So we don't really get many lenticulars anymore. I have a couple that I picked up within the last 2 years I'll talk about here today. I wanted to share with you guys the lenticulars that I have in my collection. Show a little love to some packaging that we don't get really much anymore. Obviously, I love steelbooks, but I also like lenticulars from time to time. I think more options for collectors is always a good thing. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, these are in loose order of when I kind of picked them up. I'm mainly going to cover the lenticular DVDs that I have before moving into the TV shows and some movies and stuff. So one of the first lenticulars that I got was Night at the Museum DVD. I remember getting this from Walmart. I don't think it was a Walmart exclusive or anything like that. It was the movie came out in when did I get this? 2009, 2006? 2006. So yeah, it's been a long time. So I don't really remember if it was a Walmart exclusive or not at that time, but I do remember picking it up and being very surprised and happy with the little lenticular there. One of the earliest lenticulars that I ever picked up. Another lenticular that was pretty early on was Day After Tomorrow. Now this lenticular doesn't have quite the effect of Night at the Museum. There's just a slight 3D effect there. I do really like this movie. I'm a sucker for a good Roland Emmerich disaster movie. Now the thing about this is it's actually full screen. So you can imagine how old this is. We only had a CRT TV. That's how old this is. I still have it in my collection, and I have it displayed back there on my DVDs with the Blockbuster backer cards. So that's the reason why this is still up, and the Night at the Museum is still displayed back behind me. Now this is another lenticular not too many people remember, but Hulk Versus. Now this was an early Marvel animated movie. It's actually two short movies, so they're both around 40 minutes each. Particularly the Hulk versus Wolverine is really good, and it's one of the first times I remember seeing Deadpool properly brought to life on screen, but not too many people remember this one. This is pretty old as well. This one's from 2009. Nice little lenticular there. You got the Thor versus Hulk, and then the Wolverine versus Hulk. I don't know if this ever had a Blu-ray release, but I've got it on DVD here. Another lenticular that I have that is not really that good. Santa versus a Snowman 3D. The lenticular effects are not that good. This is actually in 3D. It actually has the old school 3D glasses in it.
Wow, that's so real. They're so 3D.
They actually came with 4. Now I actually got this. Man, we went and watched this in IMAX when it first came out in, let's see, what do we got? 2004 in IMAX. I was still a kid then, but it is kind of cool to keep this in my collection. It's kind of a retro thing. It's got a memory to it. So that's why it's in my collection. Some TV shows here. This is some great lenticulars and a great show. Incredible Hulk. This is Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. Great lenticular effect there. All of these seasons have lenticulars, and I've almost got all of them. So this was season 1. Nice lenticular there. The lenticular effects on some of these are really solid, and some of these are not that good. So it is interesting looking at these. When I was pulling everything off of the shelf, and I think I've got all the lenticulars that I could find off my shelf. I've got those 2 shelves, and I've got 2 shelves off screen as well filled up. So I think I've got everything. But anyway, here was season 2. Again, really solid lenticular effect there. And then here is season 3. Again, Great lenticular effect there. I love just moving this and seeing it on the screen here. Hopefully that comes across pretty nice for you. I'm looking at it on a small screen as I'm showcasing it here. I may do some B-roll shots to get some better shots there. And then I've got season 5. This one's still wrapped up. I actually just picked this up a few months back. It was last year I picked it up. And this was the final season. There was only a few episodes here. But I just need to get season 4, and then I'll have the whole set there. But those are some really solid lenticulars that, again, it's like not too many people remember that. If you're going to pick up Incredible Hulk now, you're probably going to get the complete set, off Amazon or whatnot. So moving on to some other TV shows before we move into some movies here. Once Upon a Time. This was a pretty fun show. When it first came out, I've only got the first 2 seasons. I stopped watching it at some point. I think I made it season 4 or something like that. Anyway, the first 2 seasons were pretty good. I love the change there with the fantasy and then the Storybrooke, and then you got the little character changes. Really nice lenticular packaging there. And then here's season 2. I actually picked this one up. I don't know, was it a couple years ago? I don't know. I found it at a Games Exchange, and I was like, oh, yeah, I got to pick that out because I have the first season. And again, nice lenticular there. The first few seasons of the show I thought were pretty good. I haven't gone back and watched them since they came out, but, eventually I might get around to checking that out. So those are some cool lenticulars. This lenticular I actually picked up last year. I've not seen it. Defiance. This is a Sci-Fi Channel TV show. This was a blind buy. I'd never having seen it. I still have not seen it. The lenticular is not the greatest. Now we're going to move into some of the other movies we got here. A lot of these are Blu-ray 3Ds because Blu-ray 3Ds for a long time, their whole thing was they had good lenticulars. So here was the Jungle Book 3D, which is one of the earliest Disney live action movies. I believe Cinderella came out first and then this one. So I guess this was the second one, directed by Jon Favreau. I grew up with the Jungle Book animated movie, and I actually like this one. I hate pretty much all of the Disney live action ones, but I really dug this. Now, I haven't gone back and watched it in a while. Maybe my opinion would change. But I remember seeing it in theaters and being pretty hyped about it. Yeah, if Christopher Walken is an orangutan. We all thought that was funny anyway when we were watching it. The lenticular's okay. I would say it's kind of a mid-lenticular there with a little bit of a 3D effect. A very underrated movie that I wish made more money because I think this is a pretty solid movie. It was John Carter, and this is John Carter Blu-ray 3D with a nice lenticular. It's got a lot of stickers on it. I didn't remove these. I did buy this one used. I already had the Blu-ray, but I picked this one up maybe like 2 years ago. It'd been a little while. I picked it up used, and I do have a Blu-ray 3D player. My projector does, play Blu-ray 3Ds, and there are some really good Blu-ray 3D movies, actually. Now, some of them are not worth watching in 3D, but other ones are. Another Blu-ray 3D actually looks pretty good is The Lion King, and this is a great lenticular. I actually picked this one up used for $4, which I think was a major steal. It's got nice little embossing there on the title. The lenticular's just got a nice 3D effect. It doesn't shift or change or anything, but another Blu-ray 3D movie. Pacific Rim 3D. Now, this is a great 3D movie. I actually just watched this last year. I picked this up for $2 used. The slipcover's in a little bit rough shape. The lenticular's got a lot of scratches on it. The lenticular's kind of a mid-level, not a whole lot of 3D effect to it. But there's that one. And then we've got 3 Hobbit movies. Now, we got the 3 Hobbit movies on 3D here. So here's the first one, Unexpected Journey, with a little bit of a 3D pop-out effect instead of a shift. I believe these were the standard editions and not the extended editions. I wasn't big on The Hobbit when it first came out. I thought about maybe giving it another shot, but I did buy these just because I got a pretty good deal on all 3 of them. Again, there was Gandalf there. For Unexpected Journey, which is the first one. We got Desolation of Smaug. And again, a nice little 3D effect there. And then we've got the Battle of 5 Armies. And I believe I got these for about $3 each. Now, this one is actually missing the cover art. But it doesn't matter because it's got the slip for it. So I didn't really care. Again, I think I paid $3 each for these, which was a steal at the time. I think it's a steal now. Maybe watching it in 3D will add something to it. I don't know, but I do kind of want to give it another shot. Next up, we've got Get Smart, Bruce and Lloyd Out of Control. Now, hardly anybody remembers this movie, but with Get Smart with Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway and The Rock, that came out, which is actually not a bad movie. They had this straight to DVD tie-in with the side characters from that, and I don't hardly remember this. I watched it when it first came out, haven't seen it since then, but I picked this up at the used bookstore for like $2, super cheap. But it does have kind of a nice little 3D effect there with the title and the explosion. So as far as lenticular goes, it's actually not that bad. A 4K lenticular, which is a more recent pickup, was the Jaws 4K. Not only does this have a kind of cool 3D effect, I actually showcase this one in the back of my set all the time. It's displayed, and not only that, but the 4K is a great transfer. Just as a side note there. So kind of cool there. It's got like a little booklet with it, if I can get it out. So there's the 4K, and then there's a cool book with it. I'm a big Jaws fan, so yeah, really cool. So not only was it a nice lenticular, but it's got a little book with it too, so I thought it was kind of cool.
This is really cool.
Next up is another 3D movie. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides with a nice 3D pop-out effect. It is a lot better than some of the other ones. On Stranger Tides was okay. Like, I think Pirates 1 is by far the best. I do like Pirates 2. Pirates 3 has some things I like, but isn't that great. And that's kind of how I feel about 4 and 5 as well. It's like there's some things I like, but overall they're not that great. But anyway, this is a really nice lenticular. I really like it. There's some nice raised lettering there. It really adds to the 3D effect. It's a great looking lenticular, that's for sure. This one I just picked up not that long ago, Amazing Spider-Man 3D. It was used, but it is brand new as well. It's still sealed, which is kind of cool. A little bit of a scratches because apparently somebody had it in their collection, but it's not in that bad a shape. It's just a 3D pop-out effect. Doesn't shift at all, but kind of cool there. This one I picked up. I already owned the movie, but I didn't have it in 3D, and that was Jurassic World 3D. This is the only Jurassic World movie that I would want in my collection, to be honest, because I didn't like the second Jurassic World or the third one. But I haven't seen it in 3D, so I don't know if 3D is any good. But I'm glad I picked it up, and I'm going to give it a shot to see in 3D. Just a different way to experience the movie. Avatar. That's right. Avatar in 3D. I already have the original Avatar release, the extended edition packaging that had come out, and then now I have the Blu-ray 3D. Now, I haven't seen this in 3D since it came out in the theaters and I watched it in 3D. So, but I'll be interested to check it out on 3D. I've seen the extended version so many times, it might be kind of weird to watch the theatrical edition there. And then, of course, we've got the second Avatar movie here. Now, I already have the Blu-ray 3D. Surprisingly, the Blu-ray 3D was not lenticular, but what was lenticular was the Walmart exclusive release. And I did a whole video talking about the options for this. It's one of my earlier which version to get videos. And, I ended up getting this one used for like $10. I only had the Blu-ray 3D. I didn't have it on 4K. So I was like, well, maybe I want to watch it this way. I don't think the second one's as good as the first one. But they're fun movies to watch. Like if you can get into the world of Pandora, then I think that they're fun, atmospheric type movies, but they're not for everybody. So anyway, Ready Player One, which is another movie that I do like. Some people don't like it, but I read the novel. I've read the novel 3 times, actually. No, it's not as good as a novel. It never is. But I thought they really did capture a lot of things about it. And the lenticular here is pretty nice, where you've got his VR headset. You have this haptic headset, and then his avatar there, Parzival. And it's just, again, this is just like a fun movie. Like it's not like it's so great with characters and the writing and everything, but it's like it has a good atmosphere. It's got a good vibe to it, and it's just fun to watch. Tron Legacy 3D. Now this is one of my favorite Blu-ray 3D movies to watch. I've watched this more than any other Blu-ray 3D movie. It's really great because as it transitions into the grid is when you get the 3D pop out and the aspect ratio shift. And so, yeah, it's a really good lenticular with just some regular like 3D effects. It doesn't really shift much. It just pops pretty nice. So there's that one. Now You See Me 2. Not too many people remember this. The first one I remember liking, and Now You See Me 3 is actually coming to theaters this year, if you didn't know. But yeah, see them disappearing. It's about illusion. It's like a heist movie with illusionists. And the first one I liked. The second one was okay, but not as good as the first. We'll see how the third one goes. But anyway, so really nice lenticular effect there. This one is a kind of a different one. It's got a smaller lenticular effect with just a 3D pop out. Oblivion, a very underrated movie. I really like Oblivion. Not too many people remember it or talk about it, but it is a really good, sci-fi movie. And with a nice little lenticular there. I've only got this one. This is the only Harry Potter 3D lenticular that I have, which is Deathly Hallows Part 2. I had to look to see if it was Part 2 or Part 1. I thought I had Part 1, but I couldn't find it on the shelf. I did find this one used. It was $3, pretty cheap. But it's got just a 3D pop-out effect. Doesn't really shift much. But there's that one. And then we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp with a nice little lenticular shift there with their helmets on and their helmets off. The thing that's funny about this is I picked this up brand new and I never opened it. So when this movie first came out, however long ago that was that 2018, 2019, something like that? Yeah, it just, it's not, I haven't had any interest to going back to rewatch this. But anyway, I do think the lenticular looks pretty nice. Let's see, we got Toy Story 3 3D. I've been trying to track down all the Toy Story 3D movies. I found this one at the used bookstore. I think it was about $10. Toy Story 3. There's only 3 Toy Story movies. I don't acknowledge 4, and I don't really care to see 5. But anyway, so nice little lenticular there. Again, it was pretty common for the 3D movies to have that. And then here's Toy Story 2. I haven't found the first one on 3D yet. That's the hardest one to find, apparently. But again, just a natural 3D pop out there. There's some little bit of a raised lettering on the title. This one I picked up for, I think it was like $1. It was super cheap. We're the Millers, which is kind of a fun little comedy. I just came across it and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember having fun watching that. Got a nice little lenticular there. Michael Bay Ninja Turtles. I don't really care for this movie. I picked this up for $2. I was like, I don't know, maybe it'd be fun to watch a bad movie from time to time, but I do think lenticular looks nice. Again, it's got the raised lettering. I always love it when the lenticulars have the raised lettering. But anyway, so that was the Ninja Turtles 3D. Now we got the last 2 lenticulars to share here. Now these are the ones that are the most recent lenticulars that I picked up. One of those was the Super Mario Brothers movie. This was a Target exclusive, and it is just a Blu-ray, not the 4K. This is one of the last Target exclusives that actually came out. There were some ones after this. It wasn't the last, but it's one of the last Target exclusive Blu-rays to come out. And it's kind of got a nice little 3D pop-out effect. It's not a top-tier lenticular, but I did think it was nice. And again, if I see lenticulars as an option, I thought this was way better than the steelbook option. That's why I went with lenticulars. That's also why I think having more options for collectors is always better. But there was that one. And then the very last one that I remember picking up, and this I think I picked up maybe the same year, John Wick Chapter 4. This was an Amazon exclusive. I loved the art for it, and then I found out that it was a lenticular, and so I was able to get it. Now, I don't think this is on Amazon anymore. They ran out of stock, I think, within the first month or so of the release, but I haven't opened it because I already own another version of John Wick Chapter 4. I usually don't like to buy multiple versions, but I had already gotten the other one, and I love that lenticular. I just love the art for it. But those are like the last lenticulars that I got, was the Super Mario Brothers movie and John Wick. Now, there are some lenticulars that have come out last year. I think Stir of Echoes, which was an Amazon Steelbook, had a lenticular front to it, and I think Top Gun Maverick had a lenticular steelbook, and I'm sure there are some other lenticulars out there. I'm not saying that they don't exist anymore, but they're not as common as they used to be. And as I said, I just wanted to share with you guys the lenticulars that I have. I think they're fun to showcase, especially the ones that actually have the shifting effect. I think those come across nice on video, and just show some love to a packaging format that we don't get much of. We talk a lot about steelbooks here, and a lot of people talk about steelbooks. I love steelbooks, but as I've said a couple times in this video, More options for collectors, I think, is always better. And, again, with Target and Best Buy not really doing things, we're not getting as many options as we used to with a lot of these releases. But anyway, this was kind of a fun little video to do, other than me trying to track down all the lenticulars and pull all the lenticulars off my shelf, which I think that took far longer than filming this video. But it was fun sharing all of those with you guys. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday for some more physical media talk. I believe next Tuesday is a new release wall video, so looking forward to sharing with you guys what's coming out in March 2025. Let me know in the comments below which lenticular you like the most, or let me know which lenticular in your collection is your favorite. Comment and let me know. I want to thank everybody for sticking around on this video. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geetrue64, and I always tell you the truth.